do that those investigations won't?
Well, Pamela, I think, as Lynn said, it would give us the big picture, right? The Mueller special counsel investigation is looking into specific crimes, and they may, as this proceeds and more emails are looked at, find things like inconsistent statements from the Trump team to what was in their previous emails, as we saw over the last several days, which could lead to various smaller charges, if not broad collusion or espionage-related crimes, if you know, whatever those may be. But a commission will look at the big picture of the relationship of Russia to our election system, what, if any, meddling took place. I think it's pretty clear that meddling took place, but you know, how it came about, what the United States response could be to that. Like Lynn said, a 9/11 commission. I do think, though, what I thought Pelosi was doing was a political thing. That was a turning of the screw toward Republicans and saying, stop slow playing this. Don't enable. It's a Democratic line of attack. They don't have a lot of cards to play, but this is a card they can play.
And how likely is it that Republicans will get on board with this and give the votes for an independent commission, David?
Well, we're starting to see some Republicans slowly back away from Trump. You saw Senator Grassley yesterday calling for Kushner and Manafort to testify. He sounded sort of reluctant, but yet I think he sounded like, yes, we've got to go forward with this. It's because Republican members of Congress, and maybe not the leadership yet, but rank-and-file members, have their own credibility on the line here. And again, I think this effort by Pelosi is a way to put the pressure on them to move this forward. But I think it's still going to be a long process before we see Republicans break wholesale from the president.
It is interesting to see more Republicans come out and you know, really criticize the fact that this meeting happened. You have Jeff Flake yesterday talking to Armani Raju saying that he wouldn't attend a meeting like that. Tara, I want to go to you now. Another issue that Nancy Pelosi brought up once again is a call for Jared Kushner's security clearance to be pulled. Would that be enough to satisfy Democrats, or is this just the beginning?
I think, like you said, this is just the beginning. Inside the White House, my sources tell me that there's basically a clock ticking for how long Jared Kushner will remain inside of the White House. His presence is considered quite toxic at this point because he is the administration official who is closest tied to the Russia investigation, and they don't see it as sustainable. Also, with the pressure that he's putting on the comm shop and the press people to defend him, he has his own spokesperson inside who basically spends all of his day defending him in the Russia investigation. Once he starts testifying, I think it's going to be really difficult for him. If anything new comes out, I don't know how they can justify, you know, continuing to give him a security clearance. But if it's just Nancy Pelosi calling for it, then we'll see. But once the Republicans come along, then they're in some real trouble.
And I want to just put this all in perspective. I mean, the FBI has been looking at this for a year now. It was last July, let's remember, that this investigation was open. We've been talking about Russia for months. But this reporting, this meeting that Don Jr. took and Jared Kushner attended, raises the bar. Conservative writer Charles Krauthammer put it this way in the Washington Post this morning. He said, the evidence is now shown. This is not hearsay, not fake news, not unsourced leaks. This is an email chain released by Donald Trump Jr. himself. It turned out to be incompetent collusion, amateur collusion, comically failed collusion. That does not erase the fact that 3 top Trump campaign officials were ready to play. The evidence is damning. So, Lynn, what's your take on that? Did he hit the nail on the head here?
Yes, this is a significant part of the story, and this is why these investigations take so long, because you start following the different streams of investigations. And the part that the Trump White House and President Trump doesn't seem to have gotten is if I walk into a bank and I say this is a holdup, it doesn't matter if I actually get the money and walk out with it. I've committed a crime just by going in and announcing the holdup. And the significance of these emails that we know have been released by Don Jr., which should, to the people out there who are so skeptical of news and sourcing and documentation, this was released by Don Jr., so that adds gravity to the story, too. This is harder to brush away, which then makes other people perhaps more willing to talk. In investigations like this, sometimes it takes time to convince people, to pressure people to tell everything they know.
Right, and you know, it's interesting. If you look back months ago, the White House strategy was to distance itself from some of the people that were under investigation as part of the Russia probe, including Paul Manafort, including Carter Page, including Roger Stone. But now you have the president's son releasing this email exchange about meeting with the Russian lawyer and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who's currently in the White House. So we will continue to follow this, see how it unfolds. Tara Palmeri, Lynn Sweet, David Swerdlook, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And scrutiny intensifies for the White House as new questions emerge regarding when members of the Trump administration became aware of the Trump administration became aware of Donald Trump Jr.'s meeting with a Russian lawyer.